Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to another Living the Mystical Life course and teaching. Come on, everybody, get settled into the room. We've got a lot that we're going to cover today. There's an opportunity for people here that are present in the ever-present moment to learn from these teachings. Today, I'm going to be talking about the next version of the shaman's death. In previous videos, we've talked about the shaman's death as learning to let go, understanding old habit patterns. The opportunity here for each and every one of you is to use these teachings in a reflection and what is in you that needs to be changed so that you can give yourself an inner promise to overcome obstacles and challenges so that you can lead yourself on your own living the mystical life daily. People must ground themselves in their ears. So take a minute here and just come into the body, deeply come in. Allow yourself to experience the teachings for what they are, a manifestation of your will, to be present, to be in a state of reception on terms that are the alchemy of creation of yourself, the fetus in the mother's womb, learning how to pray with joy behind it. In coming to these terms of here in the now, there are those aspects of the shadowy former self that is saying, I have objections, I can't do it, I don't have time, I don't have place, I don't have space. Here now you do. By coming to this live webcast and the 3 that we've done before, you have given yourself the time, the effort, the energy. For those that are brand new here, you're going to be given the opportunity to position yourself in deep internal grounding, to become an expert of the self-observation, an expert at manifesting your will, an expert at the alchemy of creation. Everyone has doubt within them. People can't flow with the information, or they don't have the inner discernment. In this teaching, we're going to take inner discernment to a new level. What exactly is inner discernment? It is when one chooses to say, I am here now in fullness and awareness of myself and all beings that are within me. Who is me? That is almost an unanswerable question. It is by design to burn out the questioner and the answers. We could be going on and on. Who am I? I am this, I am that, I am this, and go on into more until your creativity is burned out. We are infinite beings with an unlimited point of view. The shaman sees both the light and the dark simultaneously, thus the black and the white shirt. When we see black and white simultaneously, we get to make the sacred neutral gray, understanding all aspects of it that exist in time and no time, so that manifesting your will is easy as seeing black or white. So many people in our world are colorblind. That is why the term shamaning has even come around, to reach out to those who do not see color and time and space in the same way and say they must do it a different way. So we are going to be taking questions during this live webcast. So if you have questions at any time, go ahead and put them in the chat room so they can be collected by the team and brought. So at the end, we can do a really good Q&A and really advance into some of your questions. Now we've got 7 videos now in this series of Living the Mystical Life Daily, teaching you about the advanced heart meditation, the shaman's death, as well as the soul sanctuary of all souls. Those are 3 powerful teachings that, when applied to manifesting your will and to your own alchemy of creation, to your own fetus in the mother's womb, your ability to dream, your ability to have the fullness of the joy of prayer will be there. It is a shamanic recipe for advancing your own consciousness. This is what Living the Mystical Life online course is about. So many of you have doubt of yourself. And I keep coming back into this term doubt, because it is doubt, that seed of doubt that grows weeds instead of spirit crops, where you're constantly weeding out your dream space on your hands and knees and pulling out. Here in Washington, We have a variety of weeds that are so strong and so potent that each and every year they come back and get stronger and stronger. This metaphor, so many of you have that same thing. A weed system that keeps growing and stopping your flow of information, taking from your energy space. In the Sanctuary of All Souls, we spoke about the Garden of Regeneration of Dream Space that has all of the mystical plants and bushes and things that are there for you to engage with, to grow in the dream space, to add to that garden, to be in that fullness of the sun, absorbing the energy into the spirit. And then you moved on to the prayer grounds, where we engage the shamanic self to be in the Sanctuary of All Souls in the joy of prayer. In today's teaching, I'm going to increase the frequency many-fold. For those of you who haven't seen the Shaman's Death teaching, you can go to andrewbartzis.com, and under the Insights page, you'll have it there. Each person right now has an inner opportunity to allow themselves to go deeper, to allow themselves to be here present. I keep repeating this over and over, not for programming purpose, but to allow people to come into the moment and understand what is here is a life path offering, a way of being, a shamanic recipe book into the greater versions of you. All right. So everyone, take your practice, take yourself in. I'm going to read the first Shaman's Death revocation, and then I'm going to take a pause, bring everyone down from the energy, and then I'm going to do the second one so that you have it as a fullness of teaching that is helping you to secure your place in space-time, what needs to be let go, what needs to go through the separation of densities within yourself so that you can make choices at the next level of gifting your life spirit. The revocation of the Shaman's Death. I call to my sacred medicine spread, that which aids me in understanding my infinite spirit. The healer's tools have been laid out in ceremonial fashion. I call to the four elements and bring their essence into my sacred healing space in equal co-creation with all sentient kind. I call to the ancestors of this medicine reading to bring communal balance with these words being manifested in the now. I call to the dreamers of the southern skies, our mediums to the innocence of our 7 future generations. In this shamanic moment of no time now, I choose to co-create this communal healing for all sentient kind living on earth now. The shaman's death is the lesson of the now. It speaks of life, death, and rebirth as a cyclical process of understanding who we were and who we are now. With every death, there is a rebirth of the self. Some cyclical form of shedding of the old self requires us to look at our habit patterns of life. Many patterns lead us out of balance with our needs. Often we confuse our needs with our desires. This is the nature of the shaman's death, to see how habitual patterns create shells we must learn to discard. In this ever-evolving dance of spirit life, balanced with real life. At times we take back old shells we discarded long ago just to feel safe and secure. This is the other teaching of the shaman's death. With the new requires new creation, so the body is involved with the whole process of self-evolution. The body is what houses the skills and habit patterns used to function with this holographic reality, blending into our dreaming experience of belief. The temporal people of the now are the only ones who have this experience of shedding and creating cyclically with Mother Nature. We, the people of the now, have forgotten the detailed ways of our ancestors. So many of us have been brought up in the bosom of mass media. They don't know the truth of our bare feet touching the ground without the chatter of world entertainment in earshot. The songs of the birds in the jungles, the chorus of crickets or flocks of geese speaking their sacred words as they head into seasonal directions. How do we teach our people to let go of the tit that milks their knowingness from the very breath they breathe? We do this by creating a legacy of truth our 7 future generation ancestors can touch, feel, and know is ancient future now real. To follow the path of living the shaman's death daily is the greatest discipline one can teach themselves during these generational times of change. Look deep into the way you live your life. What can you do to make sacred something in your own belief system? What can you do each day to let go of fear, envy, jealousy, or the 3 nags of shame, blame, and guilt? See how we torture ourselves with perceived debt created by others. See how we can come to a cyclical process of letting go with the best of intentions, so all that comes back to you is perfect synchronicities with great mystery. I call to the Spirit who lives within great mystery, who is the source of sources. I call to you in this sacred moment of infinite reflection of who I am and what I am doing in this temporal now. I call to your wisdom so I may see the humbleness of my position within my own soul-family interaction, so I may nurture all of my past and future generations with the wisdom of living in the now. The red coral of the great oceans of Earth Mother has been held sacred by the indigenous peoples of all Earth realms since the dawn of conceptual time. Red coral has been used to gauge all forms of time through the process of long-term nurturing and the lessons learned through allowing time to not affect the nature of our nourishing expression. To nurture oneself is the greatest gift we can return to Earth Mother at this moment in time. By allowing healing to be a process and not an event, we become the greatest wisdom of why red coral is Earth Mother's blood teacher. Red corals of Earth blood. It is the link to her sacred heartbeat we all hear deep inside womb time, long before we go through the forgetting of the birth canal. Red coral reminds us of the infinite nurturing in the placenta of mother's womb. It teaches us when we leave the womb to experience, at birth, a new sacred placenta of void energy encompass us as on our life walk. This new placenta is what we make sacred through the learning of what is in our DNA, our very blood that procreates our version of life in this world. Red coral comes from the great water nurseries of life, the places the whales, the dolphins, and tunas go to spawn the 7 future generations of Earth life. We all share red blood on this planet. It is the gift she gave us so union and communion can exist at all levels of creating with Earth realm. Red coral of Earth's water nurseries represents the very essence of nurturing womb time. We, the generations of the now, bear the responsibility of acting in the now. The ancestors of the past gave us our traditions, cultures, and esoteric practices for us to learn. For the future to exist in the now, we must learn how to live in balance with the ancestors of the land we live on, be it concrete jungle, urban sprawl, or ancient forests. We are the ones who act in the now. For the future to exist, we must nurture it with the passion spark. Each person will have an individual journey back into the natural way of life. Our former experience will color our future experience and continue to create until we make a clear separation of conscious application of sacred art of our daily life walk. We have all earned the rites of passage through living on earth. At this moment, suspended in no time, I choose to engage my natural rights as a sovereign-born being on Earth Mother through the natural womb of a sacred feminine. I recalibrate all of my soul frequencies to the natural way. By making this very choice, you have earned the rites of passage and to the next level of knowingness and wisdom link with the infinite soul. Each being on Earth seeks their own way to connect to the infinite being they are. This process comes to an understanding of scale and size in which our other selves work at. We walk the rites of passage and we finish the old. We do not fall back into the old ways of self-deception and self-perversion of sacred living. by accomplishing the rites of passage means you must upkeep your continuous co-creation with Earth Mother's realms. It is your sovereign duty. We do this by the elemental connection to all that is, the four-legged, the winged, the scaled, the soft shells, the birds, bees, ducks, and dinosaurs all have a place in Great Mystery's plan. All right. If you have questions, now is the time to put them into the chat so they can be brought. You have just experienced the first shaman's death. Many of you will have questions. This is a multidimensional document that is meant to be read out by your own self, recorded in your own voice. Throughout the Living the Mystical Life Daily online course, there are tools and techniques that are given to you so that you can read out loud, hear with discernment, know within your inner self that the alchemy of will that you're creating in these words is designed to open you to the unlimited point of view, to point out your limitations, to find inner programs in yourself that argue for a limitation, to lock you in an enlightenment trap that does not let you go any further. The shaman's path, the shaman's death, is cyclical awareness of the self, be it through ritual, ceremony, meditation, martial arts, singing, dancing, yoga, or whatever else. It is your art, your sacred art of life path you are creating. And these tools and metaphors are systems to help you understand how to chart your course through your own direction without an imprint from a guru or a great master. I am just a man like everyone else. I make mistakes and I go forth. I look back and allow myself to learn from what has gone to the past, to what goes to the present, to what goes to the future, as I have done in millions of lifetimes, just as each and every one of you have done for millions of lifetimes on this world and thousands of others. We're coming to a point where humanity is awakening to the greater expression of who they were, who they will be, and who they can be if they choose the alchemy of self-creation in these moments of the now. So go ahead and put questions in there. If you have questions about the first shaman's death teaching, go ahead and put them in the chat room so they can be assembled for the Q&A. All right, let me get a sip real quick. All right. Now this next one is more advanced. More advanced. It is more multidimensional as a shaman's teaching than some of the other ones that you've experienced. It is by design a challenge, a triathlon of discernment and awareness. So let me define this triathlon of discernment and awareness. There is the mind that is creating chemical stimulus that makes memories. There is the body that must be the instrument of reception so chemical stimulus exists. Then there is the spirit, observing chemical stimulus, creating memories separate of the chemical stimulus. The triathlon here is, can the spirit end chemical stimulus and create its own superluminal thinking, allowing the body to be its DNA technology? The triathlon of discernment is, are you in your body? The triathlon of awareness, are you hearing the multidimensional message because it's already here in your soul? For all of you that are here, you are each and every one a signature frequency match for the moment of the now, to hear what is the next shaman's death teaching. The next shaman's death. To live in the generation of the now, one must take time to observe their surroundings, seen and unseen. The shaman's path has many valleys, gorges, mountains that seem impassable at the moment. Then when we look back with hindsight, they were just expressions of the self-defeating inner programs to not succeed on the path to the unlimited point of view. Each person will come to the shaman's path in a different way. Each being has their own unique blueprint into the into the maintained shamanic being on a path that is defined by the companionship with the internal, eternal being we are. The shaman is willing to look at his family, friends, and surroundings and chart a course of ancestral balance of seen and unseen energy. The shaman's path is fraught with expressions of former self who hold illusionary power of a future over a future version of you. It is the shaman's duty to heal thyself, know thyself on all versions, know thyself by the signature frequency of your own message, situations, and potentials created. It is the shaman's duty to neutralize the external and internalized. It is to neutralize all aspects of the finite being, not admitting they are an infinite being on a journey of light, transforming light as they exist. The shaman is willing to use the a la carte method of belief, so they are not trapped in one modality of thinking, existing, or creating. The shamans the shamans do pilgrimages to sacred spaces in the seen and the unseen world. They journey with spirit, mind, and heart bonded into one. The shaman's path has moments where we must confront ourselves who do not want to go any further with our mystical success. A blissfully mythical path in the joy of prayer. Each and every person will learn their own way of coming to terms with the surrender to great mystery, where we let go of all of our preconceived, imprinted programs and generational issues. The shaman's path has ever-present moments of eternal acknowledgement of the infinite internal source we are. The shaman is a being of all colors, expressing their form of sacred neutrality in both night and day. Each day we experience light, we come to a transition of dusk and then night. When night is in full bloom, the mystical side of night reveals itself to those taking the time to observe the nightly life of the seen and the unseen. For countless generations, people have explored at night, challenging their own minds not to create fear. Each and every one of you have had to learn to sleep at night. You've had to learn to understand day and night. Night also means in the weaning hours when we sleep, we dream. Oftentimes we wake up during dreams and have moments of lucidity that amazes us. Flying, swimming, talking, eating, gatherings, all things solid, real for the observer of the dream. The nightly work is to help you build the constructs of the mind that go into the heart of the dreaming body as we ascend into our sleep states. This is the shaman's path. This is the way we bring our shamanic density of agenda into our dream world. So we maintain a form of dreaming synopsis of the constructs that are going on in our seen and unseen world. So we may have a medium of perception to the duality of life, night and day, sleep and awake. So now is the time to act in the heart, mind, protected, I am presence framework and begin the great work of self-education, of sacred living, of self-education, spiritual hygiene, and self-education on sacred discipline, actualized each day with the joyous heart, not being at work, doing the process, a chore, learning from it and chronicling it, so that later you may view it and see the growth from moment to moment and footstep to footstep and word to word. For if you are not chronicling your journey, you are not experiencing the shaman's death, not allowing hindsight and foresight to simultaneously exist to connect you in an all-time space. The choice is easy. The endurance of change That will determine your commitment to the sacred discipline of accepting and giving in equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order. In no time, it takes only a choice to make dream space active by saying, I will dream each and every day. You will create a direct manifestation you can remember and dream space real. When you awaken from slumber, the slumber of forgetfulness, the slumber of domination and control, the slumber of this world that has kept us in forced sleep. You build your endurance and strength each breath you take, each sovereign sleep you have, each moment being a match for communion and union, unity consciousness from within yourself. Emanate this. Learn and relearn not to emulate others. Once you understand emanation of your message, your power, position, and understanding of duality reveal the next layer of the shaman's death. To expand yourself in equal co-creation with organic co-creative evolution with your heart and great mysteries, universal heart. The winds of perception change course as human and spirit nation kind come one step closer to understanding the ever-present co-creative moment of living. The natural way of life exists for all sentient kind living and coexisting on Earth's mother's realms. It is the heart of the horse that is in the fabric of dream space we all live in. It is the totem of the spirit of the horse who spread the fabric of reality that the early spider wove. So we could dream in this ever-present co-creative dream linked to all of the realities and all dimensions, time streams, galaxies, and universes. This was Earth children's mission, to be the unvanquished dream of free co-creation. Now in this moment, I continue forth on the blazing trail of the shaman's path, life and rebirth. I now see those on this path have to assemble like perfect sections of great mysteries puzzle. I am the living shaman, knowing I must go forth through regular life reviews, so I may let go of that which does not serve me on my sacred path of living. I demand the instant separation of natural incarnation and forced reincarnation, interwoven lifetimes, so I may see from both perspective who I was, and what I was born into, willingly, unwillingly, known and unknown. In my search for the truth, I see all sides of the quantum entanglement equation. This I am presence declares sovereign boundaries, so we may hold sacred space within ourselves without worry of invasion from any source not in alignment with global dream time and unity consciousness for all sentient kind existing and coexisting on all of Earth Mother's realm. I now state with all ancestors present, I am ready to invoke my natural rights as a universal citizen born to Earth Mother's specific signature frequency. It is time we stop battling the worms and reach for the sky like fresh budding plants just emerging from the soul of life. Are you ready to be on the shaman's path of life, death, and rebirth? If so, see you in the dream time, brothers and sisters, on the sacred path of living. In the dream we live, in unity, present for all. Powerful energies. Powerful energies. Allow yourself to come in being now. Allow yourself to be back here. Take objections away from you as you're coming back. As more of your soul is here, experiencing the chemical stimulus of the body. Here is where you can make a manifestation of your will. For all that you have heard, you now can say in your own mind, this is a memory of light that is not linked to a chemical stimulus memory. It is a forever memory. Make that choice. Make that the alchemy of your creation, to advance your dream in the joy of prayer. For in the shaman's death teachings, for what is negative must still be seen as a joyous release. For what is in the unseen world that may be a fear of the unknown can be suddenly discerned into a form of light and darkness that is known and understood and has ways of being let go that are ancient within your DNA lineages. There's so many myths out there of what a shaman is or was. Shaman is whatever that being in non-duality wants to really be. I bring up the word non-duality, for it is another big teaching in the Living the Mystical Life online course. Equal co-creation and non-duality. When you are born and you are that fetus, that first few cells that is separating, you are in a situation where you choose male or female. That is your first expression of a natural co-creative forced evolution. Though it has been abused through other forms of perception, but it is a natural part of organic evolution to choose male and female in this reality. The next form of duality that we're chosen is we are awakened or sleep after we are a fetus in the womb. As long as we are a fetus in the womb, we are not in double duality. We're in single duality. When we go through the birth canal of forgetting, we come back to, instead of a double duality and a single duality, to a single duality once more. I know this is tough to understand. When you are choosing male and female, before there's a heart, before there's an emanation of the phallus or the vagina, that fetus is still in a singularity until such a time it has made the choice to be male or female. And then the duality exists, the dual duality. As we go through the forgetting of the birth canal, all of the infinite energy is forgotten, but is still stored into our DNA as memories. When we are just little infants growing and our mothers and fathers are touching us and showing us how the reality works, we are still an energy being trying to figure out how this body works, for it is all just light until we make pattern recognition and take on imprints. The shaman's death wants you to go back to those imprints just after the womb, to heal them, not because mother and father did anything wrong, to bring the infinite point of view of you, the shaman of the future, who's now aware of that being taking the first breaths of life, that they were just in the infinite dream world, and that the shaman of the future can connect them to the fetus in the womb once again through practicing of the teachings, so that womb time and birth time is no separation, is no duality. That is the non-duality teachings. In equal co-creation, the I am agenda-driven now being goes through the technical processes of recalling the mind and sending the love to that took the first breath. That's the agenda I am-driven self resolving an awareness issue. That is the shaman in action, taking what was in the unknown and making it known, and not allowing fear to create something that is a paranoia, to stop expectations. That is the shaman's path. It is in expectations that make the seeds of doubt, that take away the mystical experience. And that is where one can engage the process of the shaman's death, to stop limitations so you can experience the mystical. It is when you put your metaphorical foot down in your own spirit body and say, no, body, you do not have control anymore. I am here now in non-duality with the fullness of my spirit here going, I'm making choices. I'm large and in charge now. And I'm going to deprogram you one step at a time with love in my heart. For I know I created all of these seeds that are here that are part of my awareness. The shaman is the tender of the seeds of energy that they're sowing in their dreamtime reality, and how they become manifest as energy things and objects and synchronicities within our life. The shaman is aware of planting of the spirit crops. Those new to the shaman's death and the shaman's path, you are weeding your energy practices at first. You are taking the shovel out and turning the dirt over so that you have control over the land that is in you. That is known as ancestral balance. This is another thing that takes away the mystical experience from so many of you who are trying to do meditations and yoga and all of those other things. The very land you are on is not polarly charged to your expression. You are not a signature frequency match for it. For you, in your unawareness, you have not exchanged energy with it in such a way that it can exchange energy back with you, because there is an awareness missing. Instead of meeting like this, your awareness are like all these spaghetti strands never connecting. When the shaman does a ceremony and expresses their life lessons, they are sharing energy with those beings who are trying to connect. There is a world of duality here that you can see as non-duality, non-separation, non-hierarchical order. For within each and every mystical experience, there is a lesson. Sometimes mystical experiences come at the most micro of levels. That is the other thing the shaman's death helps us reveal, how we have become callous to the common mystical experiences that are there every day if we should just choose to see them. How the light comes through a tree, how the smell of the forest changes us, how a synchronistic moment of a rabbit coming around brings joy to our heart. Remember, there is not a single way. There are an infinite amount of ways. There is always free will to learn and relearn and earn. To understand the world of duality means you engage the shaman's path to have cyclical life moments, death moments, and rebirth moments. Now, these are all metaphors of what it takes for the self to go through the process of looking at its own disinformation, its own good information, its own information that just is there for recreational purpose, and to make a separation of densities. What do I want? What do I need? What do I desire? Separate those as the densities of your being, so you are not giving away energy in the moment to something that is a want, and you are in a moment of need. So many of you are in need of ceremonial energy, created by yourself, made sacred by yourself. If you are able to create that, you will have incredible opportunities to implement the Living the Mystical Life daily teachings, such as emulation versus emanation, living in the sacred moment, creating sacred moments, having spiritual hygiene, engaging the sacred neutral being of awareness. Your keys to success here are how do you make your sacred moments last that ultimately create eternal change in you? How do you truly emanate versus emulate? How do you engage your sacred neutral observer self? How do you assemble the great Voltron that is there? For those of you that grew up in the 80s and the 90s, how do you bring it all together? Well, I'm gonna go and do some questions now. And our first question is, how do I put all the pieces together after experiencing the shaman's death? I was given too much information about my soul and where I've been. Well, that's a kind of a personal question. The amount of information that you were given is what you are signature frequency match for. If you are not a signature frequency match for the information, there is a shaman's death process within you that is saying, why is this too much information? Why can't I process it? Why can't I slow it down? You can and do. This is this triathlon of training that I spoke about in the beginning. So Rachel, you have to go into this moment that we're saying, I'm being overwhelmed, and go, I wasn't triathlon trained for this, but I am still capable of understanding it. I just do not need to run the race of this live show and understand it all in 38 minutes. I grant myself the unlimited point of view for the rest of the day, week, or year to allow this information to process and not harm me. That is the duty of each and every shamanic person within here now, to know that at any moment you are a signature frequency match for the moment. And if you maintain the unlimited point of view, stop arguing for the limitations, especially those programs within yourself, putting the pieces together will be much easier. In the second part of the shaman's death teaching, I spoke of the horse and the spider. The spider is a major teacher inside Living the Mystical Life Daily, the online course. The horse is what teaches us how to have power, how to run through the dream worlds, how to have a companionship there. I put that in the shaman's death teaching so that you have an aspect of a teacher that you can connect to that is millions of generations old within your own soul family. If you should choose to engage the continuous upkeep of what the shaman's death is, life is, rebirth is. All right, so the next question we've got here is, Armanta, do electrical boxes in cities have a negative effect on us? If so, what can be done to the exterior of electrical boxes to contain the change in the energy? I intend to paint more of them. Well, from a shamanic perspective, using the shaman's death teaching as an example, I think you could use watercolor, paint, whatever it is, and something that's very small, that's something going to be put on a sticker, and make what I call a vibratory signature frequency artwork that has all of the intentions of the shaman's death to be placed on a box that creates energy and power. Now, in the union and communion consciousness strike, there is a power revocation that one could use. And in fact, I would use both of these shaman's death and the union and communion consciousness strike. I would put all of that intentional wisdom and energy into that small piece of artwork that you're intending to put on whatever electrical box you believe is causing energy flow changes in your room. And in this place that I'm at right now, there are 22 electrical plugs, 11 computer screens from the studio, so on. So there's all sorts of things that are here. Each and every one of those has had their own time with the shamanic energies here, so that it does not create a frequency change. Much like learning feng shui, where the energy flow of the room, not all electrical boxes are bad. Sometimes that electrical box just puts the energy in the right place that adds. Take your inner discernment and go, what truly needs to be changed? Well, if your bed, if you have your head of your bed as a plug right underneath it, that would be a really good idea to put one of those frequency-specific artworks right on top above that plug, so that your head is not connected to the wall, which is connected to the world global system. Another one is when you are in the bathroom and you've got your sink, you often have a plug that's right there. Does that power need to be in the mirror that's reflecting you? No. That is another place to put that signature frequency artwork. Wherever your children sleep, you can put those. So you can do all sorts of things. It doesn't need to be a giant piece of artwork. It can be a symbol that means something to you, that has all the knowledge and wisdom behind the 3 documents that you've read to them. How often do you have to upkeep it? That's your choice. I recommend at least once a month, that standard spiritual hygiene that re-engages you on an ancestral level to be in balance with your energy of your land. Okay? The next question is from Ryan Glantz. Hey, Andrew, can you please talk about the new placenta of void space that encompasses us after a birth? Is it based off of frequency of the mother's womb? Does this new placenta become the aura? Bingo, you have got it. The new placenta becomes the aura. So let me break the teaching here down, because Ryan, you're on a good roll here of understanding. When you are a spirit trying to find out what mother and father you're going to use, you come to the mother and the father and you put a bit of energy around them until they finally come together, and there's an insemination process. As the egg and the sperm meet, that is the first placenta that is created around it, so the egg can go through the separation, then the umbilical cord is caught, and then that we go through the birth canal, the placenta comes off, and a new placenta comes around us. That new placenta is how the body, the instrument body, houses the soul that interacts with the DNA memories that acts with Earth Mother, who is creating the reality so our DNA can interact with it. So yes, the new placenta of void energy becomes the aura of our awareness and our ability to connect and interconnect with the world that we live on in all of its timelines and dimensions. All right, so the next question is from Maggie. I desire to see the waters of the world be cleared, and I think I heard you discussed that some environmental cleanup actually interferes with the organic free-willed growth of those who it affects. Can you speak to the boundaries of personal responsibility, communal responsibility, and earth custodianship? Beautiful question, Maggie. Now, I have spoke on this before, and the reference from that question is somebody had a call in and said that they were at the headwaters of Shasta and wanted to do this wonderful ritual on the water so it can go and spread to all the life. And I told that person no, that was actually stepping on the journeys of thousands and millions of other beings in micro to macro organisms. You are giving the energy to the earth. The earth will take that energy, apply it to its infinite potentials, and as that water goes downstream, synchronistically, it will be spread with the great mystery. That is organic free-willed growth, where you are creating this construct to give to the energy of Earth through the aura of awareness. Here, Earth, here is my construct that I've created to you in light of prayer and ceremony. Take it to your system and do the most highest potential of good with it. That is custodianship. That is responsibility and communal responsibility. By giving to the earth is here in equal co-creation with us. The more that we're able to give organic free-willed expression to it, the more organic free-willed expression will be available in everyone's auric frequency. Taking custodianship to a new interpersonal level of spiritual locomotion so you can create personal rituals and ceremonies or shared rituals and ceremonies that bring more of this construct of custodianship to earth, that here is an energy construct of prayer. That's that power that you have at that moment right there. So the next question from Summer Vance. Would it be okay to ask about some of the collective Dreamtime experiences you've had at the Hall of Communion and Union 000? Well, because you asked the question, there's a signature frequency teaching of the moment of the now. And Union Hall 000 is where we are a match for equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order, and being the peacemaker of the now and the peacekeeper of the future, for we have made the choice of the shaman's death. So what collective Dreamtime experiences have I individually had? A spreading of the message of peace to all timelines and dimensions and potential. An awareness of where all time space has seen light and where there's still dark matter that has not experienced light. I've had shared cyclical visions with the organic species of this world to be and this world of the past, seeing the juxtaposition of the two frequencies of light from two separate densities of experience. To see, feel, hear, and know the potentiality of the 13th dimension manifest now. I've had dreams of earth changes, but do not apply to any of the prophecy that has been put forth in our common colloquial. For what is coming for the communion and communion through be making of peacemakers and peacekeepers is when we are in custodianship of ourselves and custodianship of the earth in equal co-creation. What we can accomplish is the unlimited point of view without resistance, so all can experience global Dreamtime unity in all frequencies of expression, to heal all former and future versions of the self that have misperception or some form of deception filter of what the truth really is. The union and communion hall is no longer a metaphor. It is a manifest, real place that an infinite amount of beings from all galaxies and universes can come to learn the message of peace in all the forms of the colloquial now. So it can be spread to every collective using telepathic energy to exchange enlightenment processes, to make a center place, a enlightenment intensive expression of peace, so that we can come to the moon lodge and the dream lodge of peace, so that we can create the peacemaker and the peacekeeper at a whole new level within ourselves. In Living the Mystical Life Daily in the online course, we go very deep into what it takes to become a peacemaker and a peacekeeper, to learn the emanation versus emulation teaching. When you are truly emanating peace, peace is a higher frequency of love that shares internal companionships with our guides and our guardians. Peacemakers are able to create individual dream spaces. So when some being of forced evolution or charge of polarity comes at you with aggression, you can suspend it in a dream space where that is played out but causes no harm or exchange of energy to you. That is the power of the peacekeeper and the peacemaker, to use the power of the dream world, to stop the limited forced impressions so that we stay limited and not become unlimited beings. In the Union and Communion Hall of 000, there is no hierarchical order. We are all sharing a common unity strike field that extends to every line of potential creation and now that is or will be. That is the focus on the law of intention and attraction that we are using. Through our intention of the infinite, a potential has peace. Therefore, we are emanating infinite potential to peace, not just in this world, but in all celestial minds, taking up the mantle of responsibility to hold peace in their own frequencies and to no longer use forced evolution as a methods of ideological imprinting. I know that one's a little rough for you all there, that flow there. That was kind of fun, actually. I enjoy doing a lot of these webcasts. So the next question from Shannon Blair: how do I find my voice without fear or judgment? Got to start talking and be willing to listen to yourself. That's the blunt answer. So this is where you have to make the solid, disciplined choice to put on your actual calendar that I'm going to make 3 one-hour recordings of myself. So Shannon, this goes out to you and anyone else that feels similar to that question. How do I find my voice without fear or judgment? You got to be willing to make an archive of yourself so you can find the inner things that are grating against your soul about your voice. So many people, when they're taught to read, lose their confidence because in their second and first grade class, they were laughed at, or they had some form of comprehension issue because the way the alphabet didn't make sense to them, and whenever they would go home, they would read fine, but whenever in the public, they couldn't read at all. There are others that only wanted to read in their mind and never read out loud. So by making the choice to saying, I am going to make a 3-hour recording, and I can hear you now, 3 hours, oh no, I can never do that. Well, that's triathlon training. The first hour is, can you get past the fear of your own judgment? What is the second hour? Can I get past whatever it is that's stopping me? And what is that third hour? Can I do it in joy? And then you go back and listen to it, and you listen for the different stages. Was I in joy there? Nope, not enjoy there, not enjoy. Hell, I don't even know what the words I was reading there. That is how you make a deeper relationship of your own, finding your own voice. These are just words, and they're all there and available for you in these free teachings for you to go out and print them out and read them out loud in your own expression so that you can listen with your own voice. Hear fear in your voice. Hear judgment in your voice. There are so many people that on the shaman's death, they come to a spot where we, the generations of now, bear the responsibility of the now. They have virtually no awareness that we, all of us here, bear the responsibility. And if those that really notice, that the bear is spelled B-E-A-R. And it is on purpose that way. to challenge what you are thinking instead of B-A-R-E. Bear represents the dreaming world. It is a trigger of multidimensional thinking. We bear the responsibility of living here in the now and living in our dream world. And the shamanic process is taking duality out of the expression and allowing the singularity that is you equal co-creation between the two sides of duality. So duality is non-separation and equal co-creation of the self. All right, so our next question is from Farah. Hey, Andrew, is there a dream time revocation? In Living the Mystical Life Daily in the online course, there is a very powerful meditation teaching and revocation that teaches you how to go into the dream time and remove vacant dream world spaces and entities, and to de-haunt yourself at different ages, to reinvest into your dream world, to learn how to make it to a new way. And then there's another one that adds upon that that teaches you how to make a Dreamtime Soul Family Reunion. So yes, in the online course there is. So let me go to, one second here. So I want to explain the system that is Living the Mystical Life online course. It is an out loud, name it to claim it course. So what you've heard in these last 7 videos that I've done is repeated at a new level. The teachings are about peacekeeping and the peacemaker and the peacekeeper and the peacemaker, learning how to have the joy of prayer. And then you get exposed to some different forms of animal type medicine. The whale is a very big teaching there, teaching you how to reconnect to the song lines of love that exist in the heartbeat of earth. For there's a musical love that we can connect to that has visions and advancements. We learn from Friend Spider, who wove the first alphabet of language. We learn from the butterfly and the dragonfly. We come to understanding the grandmother's touch. We go on a journey all the way to the sacred cave of awareness. And from the sacred cave of awareness, we learn about the celestial mantle of responsibility. We create messages to our star brothers and sisters existing in time. And then we learn how to create a breakaway DNA civilization of one that says, I am one with the universal law of one. The whole system is by design. You read out loud, record, and then you go back and listen in a meditative state and discern your own words. That is that triathlon training again. And as you become proficient in doing these things, you will be able to have an archive of yourself that is available at any time. That is the a la carte system that maybe I'm having a tough day, the boss is beating me up energy-wise, the peacekeeper teaching is what I need. Man, I just don't have enough energy. My wife needs help to raise the kids. All right, this is the time where I use the sacred cave, where I etch myself out of eternity and bring myself manifest to now to be the teachers of teachers in this moment of now, to teach myself what it takes to give to the children that I have done through thousands of generations. This course has all different versions of the out loud method. Ones that are challenging, where there are 20, 30-minute readouts. Those are that endurance challenge that I told you about in the next shaman's death. And in fact, I'm going to go back and read that part. And I think it's very important to understand. You build your endurance and strength each breath you take, each sovereign sleep you have, each moment being a match for communion and union from within. Emanate and learn and relearn not to emulate. Each and every being here has their own great work to do. Just one second. Okay? Each person will have their own great work to do. And that is the other side of Living the Mystical Life Daily online course. When you get into the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th week, you will have some very powerful teachings that are in a more advanced form of the meditation teachings. Earlier in this series, you learned about the heart meditation. You learned about the shaman's death. You learned of the soul family reunion. There is also 2 more teachings that teach you to connect to trees. They are called the Grove of the Patriarchs and the Grove of the Matriarchs. In these teachings, you learn spiritual photosynthesis and learning how to create in the forest, connect to a sacred elder, emanate the energy of a sacred elder, learn from the sacred elder, and learn how to do pilgrimages and journeys through your own guided meditations. Many people who had took the first Living the Mystical Life live course in September of 2016 have had some mystical experiences connecting to the Grove of the Patriarchs and the Grove of the Matriarchs, so that we may learn to balance the masculine and feminine energy through the teacher spirits of our world, the trees. One of the gifts in the Grove of the Matriarchs, if you should ever feel targeted, overwhelmed, influenced by something negative, the gift from the Grove of the Patriarchs for just doing it a single time is that every single tree in this world is connected and interconnected to you and will surround you by an infinite jungle of awareness to stop whatever is targeting you from being able to see that you exist into this reality. That is the gift of the Grove of the Patriarchs. The gift of the Grove of the Matriarchs is also this all-encompassing energy that connects you to the love of all trees in spiritual photosynthesis, giving you the entire power of all green things in this world, all plants in this world, the creating photosynthesis, all of that conversion of light direct to your heart space so you may be connected in infinite to the sun. That is a gift for those that practice the Grove of the Matriarchs. Another teaching that is in the online course is the Galactic Sun Meditation and the Universal Sun Meditation. Now, these are meditation teachings, just like the Advanced Heart Meditation, taught to program your reality through your out loud voice, as well as your meditative process that's listening to your own out loud voice. There is a massive octopus of intentions that are in the recording and in the self that will be listening to the recordings. Those octopus tentacles from both sides of yourself will cross over and create an expansion of awareness. There are 8 meditation teachings, 29 peacekeeping-based teachings that lead you all the way up the infinite ladder of awareness, from the lowest layer to the highest layer. It does not matter what level of training you currently have, you will get something out of the infinite point of view teachings that are here. So normally this type of course, the 6-week course with over 10 hours of teaching, would normally cost $15,000 in people that would come and pay private sessions to me. But for today, for this course, it is only $997. You'll get the full 6-week course for $997. You'll get the advanced trainings delivered to your email box every week for 6 weeks. Now, we drip them out for a reason. We do not want you to be overwhelmed by 6 weeks of training. We want you to practice them regularly so you can watch them at will. They will always be there ready for you. Okay? And part of this, if you're purchasing this, you'll get a series of bonuses. The first bonus is the alchemy course, where you'll be learning deeper forms of the alchemy of creation, such as tools like this. This is a beeswax tool. For those of you that are familiar with organite, instead of using resin, I've used beeswax. And this, oops, I just burned myself on my own candle. Shaman accident. Wax. This is red coral here as part of the shamanic teaching. This particular tool was made to assist in the shaman's death, the letting go of the old, the bringing into the new, the self-healing and the self-nurturing. You'll learn how to create tools like this at your own scale, at your own level of alchemy that's needed. You'll be learning about other ways of engaging different forms of alchemy that change energy in your world, how the bioelectric life force illuminates everything around you. And then as a second bonus, and that'll be a $197 value. And then for the second bonus, you'll get the equinox and the solstice course, $147 value. You'll learn about growth, renewal, change, shedding of the old. These are some of the new words that we use to describe the cycles of nature. It is about new lives and new beginnings. And in the solstice and the equinox teaching, you'll learn about the 7 directions: north, south, east, west, above, below, and within, how to create your own ceremonies from the smallest level to the biggest level. And as a third bonus, you're going to get 2 tuition waivers to come to the next Living the Mystical Life Daily live seminar that will be the first week in October 2017. That's a $1,194 value. This live seminar is where the gathering of self-illuminated masters on their own path. You'll get to interact with people just beginning and those who've been doing the work for ages. This is where I will bring the magic that gets to you, will help the other collective energies to higher states of consciousness and transformation. This is literally the high point of the year, the high point of those that have spent that 6 weeks of training and want to go to the next level, that want to have an advanced 4-day way of saying, I'm ready to boot camp this and take this. I've had this now course in my thing for 5 months. I've practiced it, and now I want to go forth and learn it at the next level. Those are the people that come to the live event. You're getting 2 tickets to come to the live event also when you purchase the Living the Mystical Life Daily online course. That's October 5th through 8th in Seattle, Washington. There is no tuition fee, and you save $1,994 and you only pay a one-time separate materials fee for $97. That's all you have to do. And when you buy the course, you get the 2 tickets, you get the Equinox and the Solstice course, you get the Alchemy series. And for those of you that buy today, in the next 12 hours, I will throw in another bonus, a full year membership to andrewbartzis.com in the Living the Mystical Life Daily online continuing education process. With this, you'll get new membership teachings on how to live the mystical life path. And as a guarantee, this is the best part. If you're not totally satisfied with this course, you can just email us and ask for a full refund within 30 days of your purchase. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So I want to remind people, for just $9.97, you get the full 6-week course. You get 2 tuition tickets to come to the live event. You get the Equinox and the Solstice course. You get the Alchemy course also. Now, there are those that want to do it in private. You can do it in private. But here is a way you can share it with some of your friends too. Having these teachings here. Many of you are on this path of, I want to be the shaman at the next level. And to truly be the shaman on the next level, the shaman on the next level means you've got to engage your sacred discipline. So I ask you now to engage your sacred discipline. Look at the button below. And if the buy now with all the bonuses and the special offer for just the next 12 hours appeals to you, now is the time to invest. You'll have 6 months before the course comes, before the live event comes, so that you can engage your sacred discipline from now and say that in the future when I come, not only will I be a self-illuminated master, I'll be ready for the next level and the next level of what these teachings are. So many people find themselves in what I call the juxtaposition. If I do this, I can't do this. If I do this, I can't do this. Well, for those of you that need to make payments, you can make a 3-payment plan also. We have made this by design an offering so that for those that have family members that want to bring or have close friends, you have the 2 tuition tickets to bring them to the event, to help them train with the material. Deep down inside, you all know that these healings that are going on each and every time that you allow yourself to do your own alchemy of creation, when you do them, when you actually read out your own revocations. So many people hear me say, if you're not chronicling and writing your experience, you're faking it. That is so true. I have chronicled this course as part of my own expression of what it took to learn to read the Akashic records the way I do. And what is here is the awareness triathlon training. The out loud name it to claim it system that programs the reality around you, and then the disciplined master in meditation, listening to their own powerful teachings that are connecting their awareness to themselves. Do you see the relation of how the out loud name it to claim it And the meditation teachings connects all forms of awareness. And I use the example of the universal meditation teaching that is in the online course. For it is what brings what we call comparison and contrast on all timelines and dimensions in service to light. During the last live course, we had many people that were going through direct mystical manifestation as they were hearing for the first time the universal meditation that connected them to the heartbeat of this planet, to the heartbeat of our sun, to the heartbeat of our galactic central sun, and then the heartbeat of our universal central sun, to be full in awareness of the contrast and light and service to all that is, was, and ever will be, bringing the greatness of our awareness through the teachings. These teachings are an offering for you to take up your own mantle of responsibility so you can make a moment sacred that lasts within you, to create enduring change, to be the essence of the emanation teaching, engaging the sacred neutral of your past, present, and future self. Spiritual hygiene is what will be the fundamentals that get you out of mediocrity and into the ability to make choices that take you to the higher level. Conscious, sacred, neutral engagement, knowing that each and every mystical experience has a process behind it. Just 1 second here. All right, let me go and take some questions. When I started teaching 20 plus years ago, students then were very different than they are now. They didn't have cell phones, most of them. They were still able to go and connect into their world. There was just a house TV that really occupied them and maybe a cordless phone that they walked around on. Students today have more tools than ever, more ability than ever, more distractions than ever. The more things that are out there to distract you is what takes away from your ability to have time to do sacred space rituals. A big part of the course is making sacred space. Does it have to be one fixated space? No. The whole point of the teaching, you can make any space sacred right now in front of you, even in your cubicle or in your mom's house or neighbor's house or friend's house or at the bar or in your car or anywhere else you're at. If you do not say, I have the sovereign right to make my moment sacred anywhere in my environment, bring in the fullness of my spirit without the worry of invasion from others, that is the path to the unlimited point of view. To say, this is my space, my bubble of reality. You must object to what the forced imprints are saying, that you don't have time, you have doubt within yourself. Stop externalizing and internalizing doubt. Allow the greater vision here to overcome the point of view of self-defeat. We come down to the final teaching of discernment here. Discernment is as hard as expressing what the I am self is. Earlier in the teachings, I said, you can ask yourself, who am I, an infinite amount of times and keep getting answers. And it is a form that is intended to technically burn out the person that's asking the question and answering the question. Discernment can be the same way. Discernment can easily flow into paranoia, being over-discerning. It comes down to the directionality of this heart. When you do the out loud training, name it to claim it system, you are taking heart emanation space and taking it to the edges of your aura. The discernment process starts when our aura starts to shrink, an hour after that we've done it, 3 hours, or a day, a week, or a month afterwards. When we are in fullness of emanation on a footstep to footstep, day to day, hour to hour, week to week, month to month, year to year basis, we are ever expanding. And that's the biggest thing about discernment that the new people have to learn. You are ever expanding. It is not 5 steps forward, 6 steps back. It is like that beginning before you've learned the shaman's death, engaged it in all of its aspects, and then use the heart meditation to begin to program the marrow in your blood, to have mystical experience that are cyclically letting go of the old experiences of trauma that don't allow you to go forward. Discernment is the key. Are you discerning yourself to know if you're bullshitting yourself because you didn't do the teachings today? Are you discerning enough to know if there's some form of self-defeating program within you that came from mom or dad or from your neighbor down the street? Are you discerning enough to know that your shadow's at play? Are you discerning it enough to know there might be an entity in your dream world that doesn't have positive intention? Are you discerning enough to know if this is really a spirit guide knocking on your door? All of those things are discernment. Discernment is what creates depth of character. And it is ultimately depth of character that will take you into the ascension and nothing else. And I say that for a reason. If you do not understand the depth of your character, you have gone through no discernment. If you do not know your story, know thyself teachings, one of the big parts that I teach is telling people how to tell their story to a fire. And can they discern themselves when they're telling the story? Are they really putting the joy behind it? Are they really making that moment sacred? So many people try that process and go through the ups and the downs, the tugs of wars, but they don't discern at the end what it did for the unseen world. That is the other part of discernment training. There are times that there is a manifestation that is needed here now, and we're like, why is this happening to me? Here is where discernment can take you to the unseen world and help you understand that in the unlimited point of view, sometimes us, the limited point of view, is the choice of the unlimited point of view to make a direct manifestation within us. So many people have light body activations, kundalini awakenings, mystical experiences that they can't explain and they want to know about. Discernment helps us open up our ability to understand and be more aware. Discernment is the truth of our depth of character. Discernment is the greater medium into understanding the infinite point of view so that we can take away expectation. Discernment is, do I have an expectation in this moment? I don't. There are millions of us that are around that are in full expectation of sovereign space. Until someone gives them a speeding ticket, your sovereign space is broken. Until somebody walks past your area and bumps into you, okay? All that exists in the shared reality rules. We have to have the discernment to know that the seen and the unseen world are equally layered over us. We must use the discernment. Is it ready to let go? We must use discernment. Is it ready to be aware of something that's inside my environment that needs to go? It is my discernment if I'm going to make it go. Did I actually make it go? Those are some of the things that discernment defines. And it's that depth of character, that long for living life, that depth of beingness that has gone through experiences and trials and tribulations. It is that depth of being that knows thyself of what it's been through traumas and joys and the great ecstasies of life. And it'll be that depth of character that drives forward your hologram to say, I want to be on the shaman's path. So I experience the fullness of life, the fullness of letting go, the metaphorical death of the old. So I may rebirth the self in these moments of now with the unlimited point of view as my companion on the journey to understanding source incarnate now. Each and every one of us in the law of one our source incarnate now. Take that doubt away from yourself. Use that inner discernment. Am I a part of the law of one? Through the philosophical teachings, people get it. Bring that to the heart with deep inner discernment that we are all source incarnate now. And when we begin to manifest dozens and dozens and hundreds and thousands of people who truly believe they are source incarnate now, with the fullness of discernment, so the flow of information has no seeds of doubt in it. It is fully sacred and no time, so that the infinite point of view is being manifested from business professionals, spiritual teachers, sports personalities, so that all myths of expression are busted to their truth of what they are, that all beings experiencing Earth right now are experiencing their own version of truth. Each and every being needs their own space and time to grow with their own truth. Now we have come to the greater point of view of discernment, that all the billions and billions of beings that are living on this world, astral world, surface world, and hollow world, are coming to a moment, no matter what density they are in, we all must accept that everyone is true in the moment, for that is the law of belief. And for those forced evolutionary masters and the other parts of this expression, know that we no longer want to support you materially in your forced evolution process. We demand the instant separation of our natural organic incarnation lives versus forced evolution lives. That is my discerning message and moment of the now for those that are ready to take up the next path of living the mystical life daily. So there's a button below there for those of you that want to go right to the page, and you'll get all of those bonuses that I've talked about. You'll be getting the alchemy course, that's $197 value. You'll be getting the equinox and solstice course, that's $147 value. You'll be getting the 2 tuition waivers, that's $1,194 value. And to those that buy today in the next 12 hours, you'll get a free year membership. That's over $2,300 in bonuses for spending $997 on a 6-week course that is an out loud, name it to claim it, ceremonial process from the beginning to the highest levels of awareness. Thanks a lot, everyone, and I'll see you on the next Living the Mystical Life Daily Webcast.